Welcome back everybody to another episode of Gemology for Schmucks. My name is Peter Nelson and I'm here to guide you in everything you need to know about gemstones. One of the many tasks that I work on as a gemologist is guiding people to buy natural gemstones and understand whether they're buying treated or not treated stones. Helping them to find stones for their budget. Helping people to find investment level stones. And knowing which client needs what. So one of the projects I'm working on is retrofitting vintage jewelry with a client. They go to estate sales, they go to pawn shops, they go wherever, they buy up old settings that they believe are attractive and know will sell in their market, and I help them to fit those rings with natural stones that fit a certain budget range. So what I would like to talk about today are some of the mountings, what are their limitations, and what are some of their advantages. How do you know what stone to fit with what mounting? So let's break this down into a couple places. The first thing that you need to consider is what is your price range? Oftentimes this is going to be connected to the mounting itself. If you're dealing with 9K gold, you're not going to put a large carat size cashmere sapphire in there. Even if you can afford that stone, in 9K it's most likely not going to sell because the people that like to buy 9K jewelry oftentimes are not in that same income status. So matching the stones that fit your budget for that particular mounting are very important. There are many ways to go about that, but I talked in another video about the specific gravity of the stone, getting an idea of what size of stone might be appropriate for your mounting, how many carats can fit into that size, and then estimating the budget based on that. If you're interested in that, check out that video. Today, however, I'm more interested in the mountings themselves and how that limits what stones you can choose. So the first ring that I would like to talk about is one like this. So this is from a bygone era, a couple of decades old, not that old. The first thing that I'm going to do is look at the actual caratage. So this is 14K white gold. So it's a decently high carat, but still we're not talking super lavish. The next thing I want to do is inspect the setting and decide how deep is the setting? What size of stone can I actually accommodate in this setting? And it is very shallow. We've only got maybe 2 millimeters of clearance before the finger. So I know after looking at this that I cannot take a stone that is cut very deep. So most of the glassy looking crystalline gemstones will not be suitable for this for two reasons. Number one, if it's the stone with high clarity, you're going to see right through it and see your finger because it's going to have a gargantuan window. That's just the properties of crystalline gemstones. So for a ring like this that is so shallow, I know that I need to go with a stone that's lower clarity or maybe even opaque. There are many attractive stones that are opaque that can be cut in a tablet, just a flat tablet, to fit this ring. And I know because the setting itself is a strange shape that I'm going to have to recut the stone in order to fit this setting. So I need to choose a gemstone that is shallow enough without having a huge window, and that also is affordable enough that I can recut it without losing too much of the stone and losing my money. That's the only way I'm going to be able to make a profit on a ring like this. It's an attractive ring, but the stones that fit with it have to be very particular. Here are two more settings that have very similar properties. They're very large faced stones, but again, they're quite shallow. So in order to get the proportions right, that's the width compared to the depth of the stone, in order to get those proportions right and have a well-cut stone that reflects back more light without having window, then I'm going to have a lower clarity stone. Having a lower clarity stone, once again, distracts us from that window. So I know that these cannot be premium stones. And when I look at the caratage, this one is 10K white gold, and this one is 14K. So this one being a little bit deeper and a higher caratage of gold, that's a higher purity of gold, I know that this is the one I want to focus on having a higher budget stone. But because it is a big face, I know that this is going to be a heavier stone. So I need to be really clear with myself about what budget do I want to put into this stone. Otherwise, if you're going around and buying from estate sales or from pawn shops, maybe this is a ring that I would give a pass on. And this one, almost certainly. It's too shallow, huge face, low carat gold. That really restricts the types of stones that I can use. I have two more rings over here that are both huge face sizes, but the type of setting is a bezel setting. So that means it's got a collar of metal that gets pushed over the stone to hold it in. Both of them are very large, but one key difference between these two rings is that this one has no backing. It has a small collar of metal that goes around the inside to hold up the stone and keep it from falling through. And that means that for this ring, I have to have a stone that fits almost exactly into the setting. Otherwise, it's going to jiggle in the setting even after it's set, or it's going to fall through. A very particularly cut stone has to be chosen for this one. And because it is so large, I need to make sure that it's affordable enough to be sold in this mounting. This is 585, which is the caratage of gold. So between having a large stone that needs to be cut in a particular way in order to be set properly, I know that I need to go with a lower value stone in order to move this ring. This ring, on the other hand, does have a backing, and that means that my stone cannot be so deep because it just won't sit in the actual setting. Again, these walls would be pushed in to hold the stone in. And of course, that means that I need a stone that fits almost exactly in this mounting in order to hold it in properly. That makes this a very difficult ring to set. These bezel types, I'm sure that some of you are watching this video and going, oh man, I'll just never buy bezels. Why do people even have bezels? Well, two reasons. Bezels are actually quite attractive when they're set properly. And also, bezels are the first setting that you learn how to do as a beginning jeweler, because they're easy to make. They're not easy to replace with another stone necessarily, but they're very easy to make as a jeweler yourself. When you have a known stone, you basically create the ring around that stone, and that's how high jewelry is made anyway. You start with the gemstone itself, and you create the jewelry around that. When we're starting with known mountings, there's a lot of frustrations in finding the right stone for the right price. But it's another opportunity for you. So if you want to have that experience and you're looking for a way, how do I get into gemology? How do I get into gemstones and gemstone trading? This is a great way, because you will learn a lot. And at the end of the day, if you decide that I don't like this ring, 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 you can just send them to the refiner and melt them down and sell it for gold. That's what a lot of people do. So even when you do make a mistake, you don't make a humongous mistake. So as I find more settings and have more things to tell you about the mechanics of jewelry and how we make gemstones with that jewelry, I will let you know. Otherwise, if you'd like to explore more about gemstones and gemology, head over to gemshepherd.com, where you can read blogs on investing in gemstones and in gemology. You can also get in touch with me directly there. Otherwise, I'll say please hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, tell all of your friends about me. Until next time, bye-bye.